This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome into Behind the Pen, everyone. My name is Mike Rankin, and I am your host today. And for this podcast, I'm very excited because for the first time in I don't know how long, I'm going to be reunited with my former podcast partner for this website called Midway Madness. And for Midway Madness, we'd work for a few months at a time, and we'd have put together a few really awesome podcasts. And it is my pleasure to bring in my good pal. I respect his sports opinion very much. If I didn't, he wouldn't be in this show right now. Luc Behannesy. Luc Behannesy, welcome in.
Oh, thanks. That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I got to give you some credit because, like I said, I do value your sports opinion. And today we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And your expertise, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like most in the sports world?
Definitely baseball. And I'm actually really nervous to be on the show right now because you just know so much, Rankin.
Wow, you're putting me on a pedestal here.
No, man, just respect this, man. And so yeah, definitely I say baseball, and then everything else is just more for fun.
So you would say that, are you a Cub fan? Sox fan?
I'd definitely say I'm a White Sox fan.
But do you hate the Cubs? Are you one of those White Sox fans who hate the Cubs?
No, I don't hate the Cubs.
Are you one of those guys who say, yeah, well, the White Sox are really good, and I just want to make sure the Cubs suck?
No, I like the Cubs. I respect their success, and then I I watch their playoff games in a jealous rage.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those Sox fans.
Get ready for that because it's going to happen again. We'll get into it later, but don't worry. But I'm just telling you right now that the White Sox are going to be watching on their couches while the Cubs win the World Series.
Okay.
I'm just going to straight up say that.
Yep. We'll just lead the show off with that.
Moving on. So what do we have on tap today? We got Bears because free agency is going on around the NFL, and it's really entertaining right now. It's the start of the new NFL season. It's 2016. Here we go. And we'll talk some MLB. And like I said, Cubs are going to win the World Series. That's flat out. But I want to get your opinion on the White Sox because I know you do a really good job following them, and you have a really good sports take on them. So we're going to get some questions in about their offseason, what you expect in 2016, if they're going to make the playoffs. Then we're going to get some predictions, some MLB division winners and whatnot. So, all right.
I like how you laid it out.
Yeah, let's get right
Fantastic.
into it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get right into it. So we have some Bears talk for you today because it's always NFL season, and we always have to talk about the Bears. And
Free agency is
awesome. Last year, Bears kind of fell short, and it was predictably so that they weren't going to be very good. But 6-10 kind of surpassed some guys' expectations, and including my own. And I have to say that, like I said in my last podcast, I think the Bears doing the right things can make the playoffs next year, or at least be in the hunt. Am I wrong for thinking that?
They have to make a lot of right moves.
Well, they're starting so far to do the right thing.
You can use next year. I think next year is an important year, but I don't think it's playoffs or bust for sure.
No, absolutely not playoffs or bust. But I'll tell you what, as a Bears fan, as an optimistic one as I am for myself, I would say I'd be crushed if they didn't make the playoffs.
Do you know what the schedule looks like?
Well, actually, it's pretty favorable for the Bears, honestly. Like, if you look at it, some beatable teams. Yeah, it's going to change, but there's some beatable teams out there. And honestly, like, why not the Bears? Like, this NFC, it's not super dominant with all these dominant teams. The Carolina Panthers are going to be there again. If you look at within their own division, yeah, it's going to be competitive. But I think they can match up against the Vikings if they make, like I said, if they make the right moves.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah,
we'll see.
Free agency started really well for the Bears, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely did.
They landed their guy. They wanted Danny Trevathan from the start. It was publicized that the Bears were in on him from the start. So they landed him, and for cheap. He's going to be 26 years old, coming off a major knee injury in 2014. But in 2015, he was fantastic. He specifically is based on his strengths are in coverage as an inside linebacker or whatever, jack linebacker, whatever you want to call him. So that's a plus because none of the linebackers on the Bears last year, including Shane McClellan and Christian Jones, they couldn't cover.
So is McClellan gone now?
Well, I don't know. I think Fangio really likes him, so he could be
still really likes him.
He could be a death piece. And you know what? I guess his instincts aren't really there, and he's kind of lackluster in overall ability as a linebacker because he's learning
some guidance. He needs to learn guidance from the sidelines.
And this also goes with Kyle Fuller because Kyle Fuller in his second season showed a little bit of improvement because in his first season with Mel Tucker, you really saw he really didn't learn anything because that whole entire coaching staff was nothing. And then same with Shea McClellan. You entrust guys to teach him the ways, and who they had with Trustman wasn't the right fit. You know what I mean? So if you bring in Fangio and guys who actually know what they're doing, John Fox, who know how to run a team, this is exciting at least gives me room for improvement, to think with Shea McClellan could be a piece in the future, maybe. Maybe not a starter, but a depth guy, at least.
Maybe.
The important thing is we have Danny Trevathan.
Is he better than a street guy? Probably.
Oh, you're going that low, comparing Shea McClellan to a street guy? I think he's got something. He could do something for you.
Would they pick him 14?
I would be, we don't have to revisit that draft. But, like, Shea McClellan could do something I wouldn't be very upset if he was a backup to any of the linebackers.
Okay, so what do you know about the offensive linemen they got?
I don't know any offensive linemen's names. They just, until they come to the Bears, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm ignorant to the fact. But from what I've read from the Cardinals, offensive right tackle, it's a good solid pickup. What do you think?
I'm just glad they got someone this quick already. It's a guy who's a potentially starter, play all 16 games. It's
great because they're making it a point to improve their offensive line, which needs much improvement. So that's one thing. Now, and then it poses the question, is Kyle Long going back to his natural guard position? Is he going back to right guard?
I hope so.
I think he might. He probably will. And Adam Jans of the Sun-Times reported that the Bears are planning on moving him back to right guard. So that's really exciting because he could honestly be the best guard in football.
That means you upgraded 2 positions, theoretically.
Right. You
right there.
Don't force him to learn a new position at right guard. Makes him at his natural position at right guard. Or what would I say, right guard twice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know what I mean, right tackle. Then he goes back to right guard, and then is it Leno over at left tackle for now? Is that who the Bears are trotting out there? Are they comfortable with who they have? Or are they gonna look to the draft and build that way?
And then also do all those. They always like to scour the middle range of the free agents and find those guys you can get on 1-year contracts.
Oh, definitely. And so far so good. Those two free agent signings were solid, and especially the Trevathan thing, because there were reports that other teams were in on him, and it would be devastating if the Bears didn't land him. But they got him, and they got him for a pretty efficient deal. So that's a win for Ryan Pace so far. They also they re-signed Jaquez Rogers, running back, formerly of the Falcons, spent a year with the Bears last year, was injured for the most part. So we saw a lot of Kadeem Carey, Jeremy Langford, and Matt Forte. And as we know, Matt Forte is gone. But bringing in Jaquez Rogers,
he might have a little bit of a role this year, especially if someone
healthy,
gets hurt.
I think I like that they didn't give up on him immediately.
But you got to bring someone in to compete with him, though. Keep him on his toes.
Yeah, because
I haven't seen much from him since they've signed him.
Arian Foster hurt his knee. He's out for the year. And I don't know which teams want to maybe take a flyer on him, but if I'm the Bears and you can land him for cheap, might as well.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't take much to get Arian Foster, but is there any room for him to come in here? I feel like they really like what they got in Langford and Carey.
True. I would probably stay away, in my opinion, but at the same time...
They need tight. What are they going to do in the tight end position?
At the same time, though, if you can land Foster for like $1 million, why not? You have Foster, Jaquez Rogers, Langford, and even Kadeem Carey.
I wonder, how is he? What was his last knee injury?
It was an ACL, so it was pretty serious.
Was it the same leg he's always been injuring?
Probably. So he's injury prone, definitely.
I don't know. I feel like he could be super cheap. But
he would be super cheap. But I think at the same time, the Bears are in a good position right now where they don't really have to spend money on an injury prone guy who's super cheap.
Yeah, I don't think they even have to look there. I mean,
if they did,
it's a nice buy. I mean, you don't want to. It's like something you see at the store that you don't really want to buy, and you're just like, oh, it's so cheap.
And he could provide some value, but you know what? Let another team take a chance on him. I agree with you. I think Langford and Carey right now are the right guys, to build around. And like you said, going back to the tight end conversation, Zach Miller did a lot of good things for them last year.
Bring him back.
And
I don't see why they wouldn't bring him back. Him and Cutler seem to got a connection.
Yeah, obviously, but he wants that Gronk money, and he wants that.
There's no. He
Jeremy
does?
Graham, yes.
What?
He's looking for a decent amount of money there for a tight end who hasn't been on the field.
How much guaranteed for a 31-year-old who's had just one full season finally?
I think the Bears wanted to give him like $5 million a year. If he would take $5 million, he's definitely coming back.
Green's gone. Fleener's gone.
Yeah, tight ends are coming off the board, and then Martellus Bennett's going to be moved. That's a foregone conclusion right now.
I wish they could just bring him back, but it just seems like he clashes way too much with the team.
And that's another point that John Fox wants to make, is that if you don't have the right character, you're not on board with these, or if you're on your own agenda, a lot like Bennett has been.
He's kind of a fun dude, though.
He's a wild card for sure, and he's got an overactive imagination, definitely. Because if you listen to him,
and he produces.
He's very good. He can block. He's a very, very good tight end. But at the same time, you look at the character issues. I don't think anybody wants to take a chance on it. Well, anyone. I say the Bears. I mean, the Bears don't want to deal with it anymore. And I think that's one of the... They're trying to move him to a place that he wants to go to, which is kind of going to be difficult. But they'll be able to work something out. And they're not... And it's obvious that they're not going to get much for Bennett because the league knows that they want to dish him. So whatever you can get is a plus, I guess. So if you're already set moving on from him, then yeah, you got to shore up that tight end position because they don't have anybody.
Nothing.
They don't have anybody right now. If you move Bennett and you don't re-sign Zach Miller, so that's another thing to keep an eye on as this process moves forward in free agency. The Bears also re-signed another one of their tight ends who is a depth guy, and they made one more move. Do you remember what move it was?
Are you saying they re-signed Rosario?
Was it? No, I don't think it was Rosario.
He's their third tight end, wasn't he?
I didn't even see him on the depth chart, so I'm not sure if he's there either.
Yikes. The other move they made was...
I
they made another... Oh, they re-signed Tracy Porter.
That's right. That was. Thank you. And wow, awesome, right? Because Tracy Porter was playing for the veterans minimum last year.
I didn't see for how much. How much did they get him for? A few million?
3 years, and it was affordable, like 20-something mil. I gotta check my facts here.
I forget. I always keep thinking he's older than he is.
Well, yeah.
He's 28, 29?
I think he's been in the league for a while. I'll say he's been. I want to say.
Is he? I don't think he's reached his 30s yet, or maybe he's just about to reach his 30s.
I think he's definitely up there, but it's a very good signing because he was arguably their best cornerback last year, better than Fuller for sure. Tracy Porter's 29. He's going to be 30 in August.
Not so.
And it'll be.
Do you think they draft another cornerback? Go after another cornerback? Who's third on the depth right now behind Fuller and Porter?
Well, they had who was it that they used? Because they tried out guys off the streets, and they did like undrafted free agents. I'm talking, and they did okay.
There's so many moving parts on their defense.
Yeah, so that's interesting
as far as the backups.
Well,
but these guys, it feels like within the third week, the Bears are already trotting out like 6 or 7 replacement guys.
Yeah,
they need like. If they really think they have any chance of competing this year, you got to shore up that like the outer third of your roster. They'll have
stability this year. I think they'll have a little bit.
They still got so much money to spend.
Yeah, that's the thing too. They have a ton of cap space. It was like $40 million they were able to spend through free agency and re-signing guys. So
and you've only spent what, like $20 million tops already?
Yeah, I would say that's the right number.
Yeah, they got a lot to play around with.
So far, so good with Ryan Pace. I'm encouraged. We'll see what happens.
Big draft for him
in April. Yes,
huge draft.
They need to hit on the draft, and if they do that, fill positions in need.
I'm not as excited as you are, but I mean, at least I'm not like full pessimism, full Bears pessimism like I usually am the last couple of off seasons.
Can we transition from the Bears strictly and look at some of the guys that signed with other teams, specifically in the cornerbacks?
Yeah,
because Kirk Cousins is getting franchise tagged, which means you're averaging the top 5 quarterbacks money wise.
And RG can be had at minimum wage. I mean, not minimum wage, minimum.
The minimum, yeah.
Near minimum
salary,
wage
yeah, right.
of $500,000, but some weird, bizarre world where that happened in 1 year. They had the franchise tag him because Brock Osweiler, which just blows my mind, got $76 million. Kirk Cousins would have got $120 million.
Kirk Cousins would have definitely demanded to be in the top 10 paid quarterback range. Like Colin Kaepernick, he's up there. It's crazy. And people complain about the Cutler contract. Cutler is making $18 million, I believe, this year, which is on par to like Tony Romo, Matthew Stafford.
I mean, he's overpaid, but
overpaid compared to those
the same.
Two. But then you look at
Brock Osweiler makes the same.
You look at Joe Flacco, who's the top paid quarterback in the league, and then you look at Matt Ryan, who's up there. I don't know. You look at obviously I would take Cutler over Kaepernick. And it would be debatable over Matt Ryan, but still, Matt Ryan's making a $22 million. That's like a tremendous amount more than color is. And people are complaining about the quarterback position eating up a lot of their cap space. It's like, dude,
you have to.
That's the going rate for quarterbacks.
You have to, especially if you're halfway decent.
I'm giving that money to color, absolutely. In the market right now, absolutely. I'm okay with that.
I mean, because you look at what the Broncos are going to do. They're completely QB-less. I mean, who are they?
Yeah, right.
I mean, they have some options, but realistically, who are they going to go after?
RG3 maybe?
If I was them, I think Fitzpatrick looks nice. RG3 would be interesting, but realistically, what can he do anymore?
Mike Lennon?
I mean, you saw with the Broncos, you don't have to do much.
Right. You have that defense still.
Just don't lose the game for them. Don't throw 5 picks.
I just can't believe Brock Osweiler got that money in Texas, Houston That's
and the Texans,
unbelievable.
The Texans got Brian Lamar Miller. I mean, they made the playoffs last year
with Brian Hoyer
with a complete merry-go-round of just random quarterbacks.
Yeah, right. that was something.
Brandon Wheat, they had the Whedon and Hoyer show.
Mm-hmm. And they had who started? Do you remember?
Never mind, Whedon was the Cowboys.
Who started? It was
TJ Yates.
No,
every year they release him. Every year they bring him back because everyone's injured.
They were trotting out some Case Keenum. Yeah, Case Keenum was out there and then he lost his job and he was all salty. Well, whatever. That's the Texans' problem. See, would you rather have Brian Hoyer, Case Keenum, Brock Osweiler over color?
Hell no.
I wouldn't. Absolutely not. So, guys, be happy with what you got in color. Color can lead you to places. I believe that. I believe it. Give them the right supporting cast.
We'll see.
We'll see. But the Bears, the Bears, we don't have to worry about the
Color's
Bears.
got like 9 lives, I feel like.
That's fine. Let this whole offseason play out, and then we can get excited about the Bears. But it's always fun to talk about them, especially around free agency period when the new league year starts. So it's fun Bears conversation. We have to worry about them until August, September.
That's true, but it's just not, like you said, it never ends.
It doesn't, right?
Free agency, then the draft, and then OTAs, and then summer camp, and
well, yeah, but like at the same something, it's like the off season drags on forever, and then the regular season goes by in a blink. But for baseball,